Every time I thought I made progress, the death counter just kept climbing.
Alright, that was close.
Damn it. No, dude.
Alright, let's try it.
No! Are you kidding me? Hi, I'm Matt. We're playing through Uncharted 2 on brutal difficulty. We're starting here in the middle of chapter 22 with like 600 deaths already.
Alright, chapter 22, the monastery. Hopefully, this is a quick little jaunt.
Yeah, about that. Immediately, we start in another arena because apparently this game loves work-life imbalance. Now, at this point, I've already been stuck in this chapter for like 2 hours, so my strategy right now was dead simple. Take everything painfully slowly and pray.
There we go.
As an omen of good luck, Elena becomes an absolute unit on the battlefield. She stands right here in the middle of the arena and takes bullets like it's just a light rain.
I don't know how Elena is just taking it with no cover here.
The main thing here was climbing onto this roof to the left and conserving ammo.
In all my time playing this, I never knew about this.
I took out most of the enemies using a pistol, dodged a handful of grenades, and then grabbed this fresh Desert 5 near the end because future me was about to desperately need it.
Thanks, Desert 5.
And honestly, that was basically the arena. That should have been my first warning sign because it seemed like every single time I thought something was over this episode, it absolutely was not. After climbing around with Elena for a bit, we reach another arena. Here, you can actually survive this grenade if you continue to hang, but that means I messed up the timing with this first enemy, and therefore had to accept my fate.
Yeah.
So, important thing, ledge kill this enemy first to actually make it into the room. From here though, I just use the Desert 5 to easily take out the rest of the enemies, and then grab a fresh one on the way out before moving into the next chapter.
With 7? Yeah, gotta take that.
Because chapter 23 decides that we've apparently had it way too easy. Which I guess is kind of true because it's only been like 2 deaths. But if we include last episode, it's been like way more than that. Oh good, another chapter that opens into a huge multi-stage arena. How original.
Yeah, this is it. Okay, chapter 23, reunion. Now we're in this chapter. Okay.
And then Elena starts contributing by physically blocking my bullets.
Elena, get out the fucking way. Get out the way.
No! The first challenge of this arena is going left because there's a few enemies that funnel through right here. But the real challenge of this arena is that every single fight has approximately 17 waves. But then I started recognizing some key signs.
I feel like it's not over yet.
Oh really? What gave that away?
Just get the inclination.
Was it the suspicious amount of ammo lying around? Or the giant staircase leading around everything? Or the fact that Nate and Elena are still acting like 2 paranoid mall cops?
Alright, that was close.
Damn it! Turns out, all of the above.
Is it starting me from the beginning? I think this is the beginning.
Yes, because apparently turning the corner too aggressively summons an entire new civilization of enemies into the arena. It's at this point where progress is starting to feel like when you want to leave your friend's house, but they don't really want the sesh to end, but they also don't have anything new to bring up either. You know what I mean? Alright bro, I gotta go. Thanks so much for having me over though. Oh, for sure man, yeah, I had a great time. It's always fun hanging out. Yeah, for sure, I hope to see you again, dude. Wait, real quick, we're still good to see that movie this weekend, right? Oh, right, I remember that. Yeah, I guess I'll pick you up around like 6 or 7, does that work? Oh, okay, cool, sick, that's perfect. Alright, sick, I'll see you then, dude. Oh wait, hold up. Then? Forgot your phone charger. Oh, yeah, thanks, dude. I mean, I could have picked it up next weekend, but I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, of course, for sure. I just didn't want you to go without it. I get it, man. It's good. I'm just gonna head out, though. Wait, but what about your hoodie? I can just grab it next weekend. Bag? I don't need it. Or your speaker? I have a couple at the house. Maybe your keys? Oh my god, what? Oh, keys. Yeah, I do need those, actually. Thanks so much. I'm gonna head out, though. No, you can't leave yet. Why not? I know you don't have anywhere to be except for dinner tonight with your parents, so we can be hanging out for at least 2 more hours. Wow. And because I'm lonely. Okay, well, I appreciate it, but you know, I still gotta shower, and like then there's gonna be traffic, and then the weather might be bad, and you know how we can keep hanging out for like an hour then. Sure. Yeah, we can hang out for like an hour. Sick. Alright, man. What do you want to do then? I don't know, man. We can do whatever. Whatever, bro. Anyway, you can't look away for even a second because...
Oh, no, that's what I get for looking at my computer. Oh. Got him? Fuck. Oh, I stood up for too long. I should have ducked.
And at this point, I started a new strategy where I would aim and throw a grenade just before the next wave spawned in.
Oh, I forgot about the shotgun guy. I think that would have worked.
And that sentence became the entire theme for this stream.
I think that would have worked.
Eventually, I realized that the grenade was in fact working, it's just that the game spawns in even more enemies immediately after them.
Since all these dudes are up here, we can just... Let's go.
I swear, every time I thought I reached the last wave,
Damn it!
Naughty Dog would just kick down the door holding another shotgun, because 2 brutes spawn in the next wave, and then as soon as you rush up the stairs, another small wave spawns in too.
Your feet, there you go.
And then there's this guy that scared me for no real reason.
Oh god!
And then finally, we reach the top.
Harry! I've reached the top!
Only for me to skip a cutscene and immediately kill myself.
Oh my god, Drake, why would you do that?
Not gonna lie, this death actually broke me a bit.
Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking stupid? And you're just gonna spawn me on the roof like that's my fault?
And to be fair, like that's my fault? I still don't think that was my fault. Anyway, tiny rooftop fight, totally safe.
Damn, dude.
Okay, never mind, jeez. Getting past that kerfuffle, we parkour around another building and just let Elena figure it out for herself, I guess. Then we briefly see the Guardians again.
Bye-bye, Guardians.
Before pushing these enemies straight into the void, which not only felt a little personal, but just so satisfying. After stealthily taking out the next 2 enemies, we grab one of these grenade launchers for absolutely no reason at all.
Just in case.
We enter the next arena and are greeted by 2 mega brutes, or mutants as Nate calls them. The strategy I found ended up being rapid firing the grenade launcher directly into one of the brutes as soon as you can, which works great until the game introduced me to their reinforcements.
Damn it. I figured they were gonna kill me in one hit.
This tiny platform instantly became about as safe as your average Minecraft YouTuber. And one thing became very clear. Do not hang from this ledge.
No, 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 no! Dude, that's a bad fucking place. Thanks, Drake. Okay, I don't know why we're not good there.
No, no, no! Oh my god, it always puts me into the hang. At this point, I was slowly figuring out the arena, but not fast enough to stop dying repeatedly.
All right, jump. Jump, 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 jump. Ah, I got a little trigger happy there, I'll admit. Come on.
Then on the next run, I noticed a bunch of RPGs just sitting around, and that's when everything changed.
Oh, and there's RPGs back here.
I bet you can guess what the strategy is from here. If you said using the RPGs with the grenade launcher to take out all of the rest of the enemies, you'd be right.
Got him.
And if you thought I crushed it out on my next life, you'd be almost right. Almost.
Oh no!
No! I also found this little room that lets me peek at enemies without every person in Nepal instantly firing rockets at me.
This is definitely good cover.
And after killing the final Mega Brute, the game rewards me with something I haven't seen in what's felt like years. A real puzzle room. Thank God. At this point, I was just so happy to look at blocks and rotate symbols that I probably even would have done my own taxes if the game asked me to. So we solve the puzzle, open a giant window, zip line across the entire map, and then Nathan Drake dies to easily the safest jump of his entire career.
Oh shit. Awesome. I think he would have been able to survive that jump. He's definitely survived worse.
Fantastic. After actually making it to the next arena, the strategy starts off by stealth attacking these first 2 enemies and then taking over this RPG nest in order to survive the oncoming waves.
Let's just get him. Alright, well,
Then I had one of my best runs early on, because of course I did, where I mapped out the enemies in the next waves, but of course that meant I died right as I was trying to jump for more ammo.
Alright, let's try it.
No! Are you kidding me? Right off the jump. Literally right off the bat. Eventually, I noticed the turret enemy would glitch out a little bit at the end of each burst, giving me this tiny opportunity to attack him. Luckily, I also had an RPG, which is generally the preferred solution to most problems.
Got him.
Rest in peace, this guy, he got hit by a bazooka. I think about it every time I hit the hookah. Kaboom. Kablow. Then the final wave spawned in with a sniper ready to reset my entire run.
Oh, that was real close.
But after taking him out and cleaning up the last enemies,
Nice.
the arena was finally done. For real this time. Probably? Yes. Okay, cool. Cool.
Oh, that's all of them.
Anyway, Nate and Elena push this giant mechanism open, zip line into another arena, and then immediately die to a riot shield enemy. Because of course.
And he just got me instantly.
At one point, I think I accidentally shot Elena, or maybe she died on her own, which doesn't really make sense given her penchant for standing in the middle of arenas. But either way, she dropped, the screen faded to black, and I restarted from the checkpoint.
Elena died. Oh my god, Elena actually died. I didn't know Elena could die. Did I shoot her?
So I guess that counts as a death.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that happen.
After clearing the first wave, another group of enemies rappels down, and this time I know exactly what to do. I preload 2 grenades right where they land, and make quick work of them. We climb out and back towards the start of this whole area where these giant stairs have now opened downward, and there's randomly a bunch of bodies everywhere. Oh well, that's probably not signaling anything important. To the death recap! Since we started in the middle of a chapter, no wonder it felt like every arena just kept going. We ended chapter 22 with 2 more deaths than last episode, meaning the new total is 133 deaths, which is really just the brass knuckles to this already record-breaking gut punch of a chapter. Then chapter 23 rounded us out with 58 deaths, putting it in a tie for 4th place with chapter 3. This gives us an episode total of 60 deaths, which is the second lowest in the series so far, but still a surprising amount honestly given that it was barely longer than 1 chapter, and a series total of 658 deaths. Now, I know some of you are thinking that the dumbest death will go to when Nate missed the safest jump of his entire existence.
Oh shit. Awesome.
But I'm actually going to give it to when I made all that progress in chapter 23 just for Nate to run off the ledge with barely any hesitation.
Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking stupid? And you're just gonna spawn me on the roof like that's my fault?
At this point, the scariest thing in Uncharted on Brutal isn't dying in a fight, it's thinking the fight is over. Because You'd think I'd have this more memorized because I wrote it a couple days ago, but nah, screw that. Get the blood flowing, gotta keep going. Fuck, I got stuck in a loop there. I'm sorry, everyone. All right. I think that actually went pretty well, things considering.